Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I will be telling you my natural birth story. I will also be telling you the aftermath of my natural birth, and I will be giving you tips on how to survive and prepare for a natural birth. My story first, my story of a natural birth. My due date was on a Monday, so Friday I went to the doctor's because at this point I'm every week and I always scheduled it on a Friday. So my appointment was on a Friday. I talked to my doctor and my daughter was still, she was positioned to drop, but she did not drop at all. And I was at a 1 centimeter at that time. So I thought she was coming late, and I asked my doctor, her opinion. I said, do you think she's gonna come on time? Do you think she's gonna be late? She said, if I had to, guess, I think she's gonna be late because she's still positioned and she hasn't dropped. So I'm thinking I was gonna be late, and because my due date was in 72 hours. So after my doctor's appointment, I relaxed, chilled. I did not do anything. So on Saturday, I ran some errands. I spent time with my friends and I spent time with my family. It was just a normal day. Saturday night, I was getting ready for bed, and it's about maybe 11 o'clock. I felt this little pain, and it was so little I paid attention to it, but I didn't pay attention to it. It didn't bother me. I just ooh, okay. I felt that and I laid down. About 20 minutes into laying down, I had to go to the bathroom, and I was moving my bowels. So from 11:30 to about 11:30 to about 12:30, I was going to the bathroom, back to back, moving my bowels. And I thought it was a good thing. I felt like it was a good thing for me because when you're pregnant, it is common to be constipated. So me going to the bathroom, I felt like it was a relief. After about 12:30, I felt a sharp pain, the contractions. I felt the contractions, and since my due date was on a Monday and this is Saturday, I said, okay, maybe these are Braxton Hicks, and maybe my daughter, is preparing to come on her due date. Little do I know, I was wrong. They were the real thing. By 2 a.m., the pain was the contractions were so painful, and they was coming so every 20 minutes. I woke my mom up. I told her, I said, Mom, I'm having contractions. I don't know what to do. She asked me if I wanted to go to the doctor. I said, to the hospital. She asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital. I said no, because I was afraid that I was going to get turned away and come back home. I said no, I don't think so. So I came back in bed, and I was just taking the pain in my bed right here and just trying to breathe through the contractions. One of my tips I would say is, once you find out that you're pregnant, work on your breathing techniques. I did not, and it was hard for me to breathe through the contractions. So if you know that you're pregnant, my tip number 1 is, when you find out you're pregnant, work on your breathing techniques, so when you are in labor, it will come easy and it will also come natural. So through my contractions, I was just moaning through my contractions and taking it till about 5:30. Around 5:30, that's when I really couldn't take it no more, and they felt like they was coming sooner. Every 10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, I was having contractions. I called my doctor and I couldn't speak on the phone. I called on call. So when you call on call at my doctor's office, you don't get your doctor. You get someone else, and they give a message to the doctor, and the doctor will call you back. So I couldn't even talk to the man on the phone. I had to give the phone to my mom because I was in so much pain. My mom answered all his questions, and then the doctor called me back within 3 minutes, and she asked me how far are my contractions. I told her every 10 minutes, maybe 15, but I wasn't keeping track. The last thing on my mind was keeping track of my contractions. I was just trying to breathe through, and survive my contractions. So she said, since they weren't 5 minutes apart, to call back when they're 5 minutes apart, or head to the hospital when they're 5 minutes apart. I said okay, and I had my sister keep track of time. Once I got off the phone with the doctor, my sister was like, oh, Ashley, they're about 4 minutes apart. I was like, girl, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to keep track of time? Hello? And she was like, yo, you're about 4 minutes apart, Ashley. I'm doing it. One was 4 minutes, one was 3 minutes, one is back to 4. So I said, okay, whatever. I paid no mind to my sister. Around 6 o'clock, that's when I decided to take a shower and head to the hospital. It took me about an hour and a half to get a shot. It took me about an hour and a half to take a shower and to get dressed, because I was having the contractions and working through the contractions. I remember laying on the floor in my undies and not wanting to move for about a good 30-40 minutes. That's probably what took up most of our time, me laying on the floor and did not want to move. So once I did get dressed, I went to the hospital. The lady checked me in, and I asked her to hurry up and call the nurse, because at this point I couldn't even stand up straight. That's another way your daughter or your baby is coming, when you can't stand up straight. I just couldn't stand up at all. So I'm limped over and I'm holding my mom by her arm, and she's guiding me everywhere, and she's guiding me back to the room. The nurse asked me if I wanted a wheelchair, and I said yes, because I could not walk. I did not want to walk, and the pain was just so unbearable at this time. I got in, I changed clothes, and I got in bed. The nurse took my vitals, and she asked me some questions, and the doctor came in. And he checked me, and he walked out the room. Once he walked out the room, my water broke. Once he walked out the room. I was screaming at this point for my doctor. I was also screaming for epidural. Okay, because my contractions were so back to back. I couldn't take it, and I was under the impression that I was going to be in labor for another 8 hours. The doctor came back and he was like, your daughter is coming, and we have to get you to the delivery room. So they rushed me. It all happened so fast, and I came there so late. I only had one nurse. When you deliver a baby, you're supposed to have at least 2, 3, 4 nurses. I've never seen only one nurse. They did not even have time to get another nurse ready, because my daughter was ready to come. So that one nurse did the job of 2, 3, 4, however many nurses you're supposed to have in the room. So they pushed me to the delivery room. They turned the light on, and once that light is on, it's action. You gotta go. So when when I got to the delivery room, the doctor told me once you have another contraction, to start pushing. I was like, okay. So I had the contraction, and what I thought I was doing was pushing, but I was also just pushing my feet, and that wasn't the right way. And that's what the doctor told me. The doctor told me that I should be pushing like I'm having to poop. So that's what I did. And within 3 pushes, my daughter was here. Now, that's my natural birth story. Now, the aftermath of giving birth. The nurse comes and push on my stomach. Okay? They want to make sure that they get everything out. And she pushed on my stomach about 3 times. And I would say that was a little painful. You just gave birth. The last thing you want to do is have a nurse push on your stomach. So be prepared to have a nurse push on your stomach to get all the blood and everything out. Then they gave me a shot and they stitched me up. The only positive about that was they were dissolvable. They dissolved on its own, and I didn't have to do anything. I did not have to come back to the doctor to get them taken out. So as the doctor is stitching me up, they also, when they were weighing my daughter, I had this bag of goodies, guys, okay? And I would be pulling things out. When they were weighing my daughter and doing the little hearing test on her, the nurse gave me these underwear with 2 pads to put on. And this is just one of the pads. Hopefully you guys can see it. There's a little, this is just one of the pads. So you have to wear 2, right? That's what they gave me. They gave me 2 pads to wear at one time with these underwear. And they told me that if I bleed through the pads within like 1 hour to let them know. Fortunately, I did not bleed through the pads. They also had me go to the bathroom, okay, and they wanted to measure my urine. When I went to the bathroom, the nurse gave me one of these. Hopefully you guys can see. This right here is going to be your best friend. Okay, you put warm water on it, and then when you go to the bathroom, you squeeze at the same time to just relieve some pain, and it helped. I used this when I got home too. I probably, every time I went to the bathroom, I squeezed in the front, squeezed in the back. This is going to be your best friend, I promise you that. So I use that in the hospital. Then also my mom requested this for me. The pain relieving spray. It's a cool spray, and when you spray it on, for me, when I sprayed it on, it was cool and it was relieving, but it did not last long for me. It probably lasted about 5 minutes, and then that was it. So I will wear the pads and probably change the pads every time I went to the bathroom. I also have low iron, so they had to like check me often in my iron, because I am anemic, and they wanted to make sure that I was okay because I did lose a lot of blood. Now, tips on how to survive a natural birth is one, work on your breathing techniques as soon as you find out you're pregnant so it can come natural. I did not work on my breathing techniques, so I was mostly moaning through my pregnancy and crying through my pregnancy, my labor and my contractions. 2, walk as much as possible. I am an active person. Before I was pregnant, I was going to the gym maybe 3 to 5 times a week, depending on my schedule. But once I found out I was pregnant, I cut back on going to the gym because I was tired, and I just did a lot of walking around my neighborhood. Excuse me. And when it got cold, I would walk around the mall. I would do at least a mile. The most I did walk while I was pregnant was probably 2.5 miles. But I will encourage anybody that's pregnant to work on your breathing techniques and to walk as much as possible, because walking will help you, during pregnancy, and I think it will make it less painful. It's going to be painful regardless. Don't go in there thinking like, oh, it's going to be a breeze, this is a piece of cake. No, it's going to be painful. 3, I would encourage people to have that mind state like there's no such thing as an epidural. Like, an epidural is not a choice because it doesn't exist. Have that mindset. Okay? The most important tip that I can give you, tip number 4, the most important thing is know that you can do this. Woman's body is made to give birth. So you can give birth. It's meant to have a natural birth. The epidural is a man-made medication type thing as I see it. You can't sit here and say you have to have it. Don't think that you have to have it. Have that mindset that you can do this. Your body is made for this, and there's no such thing as an epidural. If you think that there's an epidural, you're gonna reach for that epidural. You're gonna ask for that epidural. So that's how I was thinking. Okay, but like I said, when it got to the end of my pregnancy, I did ask for an epidural because I assumed that I was going to be in labor for another 8 hours. But I wasn't. My labor and delivery lasted about 9 hours altogether. I had my labor started around 11. My contraction started around 11 o'clock at night. I had my daughter at 9 in the morning. 9:17 to be exact. I also had gifts for my nurse and my doctors. When they brought me to my room, I had set up some chapstick for the nurses or the doctors. It was their choice, but some chapstick. Sometimes, you forget chapstick or you just want to leave something and have something extra. Boop. I also had hand sanitizer for the doctors or the nurse. Doctors or nurses can never have too much sanitizer. And I got one pen left. These are pens that I got off of Amazon for a little bit of nothing, and they look like syringes, but it's actually a pen. So they had the option of choosing or taking off 3. They didn't want to be greedy, like, oh no, I just take 1, oh I take 2. But these is what I offered to the doctors and nurses, just to say thank you for delivering my healthy baby. So my camera just shut off for some reason while I was just wrapping up everything. I will also do a video on breastfeeding, my tips to you guys on breastfeeding. Hopefully I can get that up within the next week after putting this video up. What else? If you have any questions, this is like my second video. My first video talking to the camera and getting it out to you guys, so I'm a little bit nervous and still need to work on things. But if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up on Instagram. All that is down below in the description, and I will try to post it somewhere here in the video, and ask me the questions. I promise I will get back to you. If you follow me, just hit me up in the inbox and say seen your video, positive, negative, or whatever. Just want to say hey. I will respond. I do not pay any attention to negative comments because that doesn't faze me. And hopefully my video helps you. If you have any questions, like I said, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel up here, down here, and expect more videos. See you later.